sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal wéef nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jar Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With EcoBank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as EcoBank mobile app, EcoBank Online, and EcoBank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the EcoBank mobile app. Open the EcoBank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via EcoBank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to EcoBank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any EcoBank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Tuesday, the 12th of May 2026, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Our guest is Honorable Lamin Jabbi. He's the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. His first visit to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. How is the Gambia working with international partners like ECOWAS to advance digital transformation?
Okay, you know, at ECOWAS level, we just concluded a particular meeting in Sierra Leone on personal data protection, which was organized by ECOWAS. That is just one of the last things we've just been doing for the last 2 months. But at the ECOWAS level, what are we doing? There is a whole commission set up for looking at this infrastructure and services, digital economy infrastructure and services across the ECOWAS. So the Gambia is actively participating in that. And I'm sure you know the current head of ECOWAS thing is a Gambian. Even the secretary there was a former minister here as a Gambian. So we are playing a better role there. than before, if I can say that. Now, what are we doing at ECOWAS level? Cross-border trade is key. Online transactions, another important area. The project we are currently having, the West African Digital Integration Project or Program that we are currently having, is really facilitating so many policy developments, legislative instruments, and some other initiatives across ECOWAS region. We have it here, we have it in Sierra Leone, Liberia, and many other ECOWAS countries. So at the level of infrastructure in ECOWAS, we are looking at how do we connect our national backbones for infrastructure part. What are those national backbones? How do I connect GAMTEL's ECOWAN network with that of Senegal's ADIE's network? And how do we connect that to that of Guinea and Guinea-Bissau and that of Sierra Leone and Liberia? So we've already decided that we'll be coming up with some policy, documents where these policy documents are expected to facilitate that cross-border connectivity. In fact, for the Gambia and Senegal, we've also gone too far by doing something like that. And that of Guinea, you may be aware there is this called the OMVG fiber, which is coming. It's about 1,677 kilometers of fiber coming all the way from Guinea to Guinea-Bissau to Senegal and to the Gambia. Now we could use this, or we can use it as a festoon system for that cross-border connectivity. And this is supported by ECOWAS. Now, at the international level, when it comes to bandwidth, we have our local networks here. We have our companies that are all operating here. There is a national backbone that we have, that's the ECOWAN. But of course, all these things need to be connected to they need international connectivity if you really want to use the bandwidth for outside. What do we have? We have the Gambia submarine cable connectivity, that's the ACE cable. But of course, it's not only that. ECOWAS is now facilitating to making sure that each country in West Africa gets at least 3 submarine cable connectivity. So we are currently working on the second one, hopefully the third one, simultaneously for the Gambia to get it. With the help of the World Bank, we are still at an advanced stage. Hopefully by next month or June 1st, the tenders will be open for our second submarine cable connectivity project to kickstart.
And this second submarine cable, would it start and end exactly where the ACE cable currently does?
Now what we want to do is we want to plan for 3 cables. ACE is already there. It's fading out possibly in the next 5 years.
Oh, it's phasing out?
It's phasing out. If they even decide to extend the CNMA of ACE, they can only do it for the next 5 years, meaning 2 years plus 5, that's 7 years. But remember, if you want mobilization to build a cable system right now, even if you give me, for example, if the cable system would cost the country $100 million, for example, even if you put on the table right now $200 million, I cannot put up that cable system in this country for the next 2 years, 6 months, because mobilization requires 2 years, 6 months period. The ships, the vessels that will be called upon to come and do the work, it takes time, and there are very few in the world. So because of that mobilization effect, if you have 7 years left, you are in fact critically talking about 5 years. Now, if they start building the cable itself, that may also run for another 1 year, 6 months, or to 2 years or 3 years, depending on how ready you are, what you are ready to pay. So if it is 2 years or 3 years, it means now, in fact, we don't have 7 years. Exactly. We just have about 2 years or so. So we are simultaneously considering having additional 2 cables. One of them is the American Cabral cable system, which we are currently working on to making sure that we link Cape Verde, the Gambia, and 4 other West African countries that are only having one submarine cable system, which are Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Conakry, Guinea-Bissau, and the Gambia. All the others have at least more than 3 or 4 or 5. Yes. So ECOWAS is really doing a lot at those levels.
Talk to me about the data protection and privacy policy, and what safeguards are being put in place to protect citizens' information.
I think it's just by coincidence. We already have, we have a law already in place. We also have a policy in place. Now, you will recall that we have what you call the Access to Information Authority. The commission is there. Yeah. we have decided to place the data processing commissioners. We have decided to place data protection under the commissioners, so that one commission would be able to do two things: to address the issue of or regulate the issue of access to information, while at the same time deal with data protection. What is our interest in this data protection? Because the commissioners just returned from a site, they call it benchmarking visit to Nigeria and Kenya just last week. We are training them to making sure that they are able to really do the work that is required of them under the law. Now, that would require a few things. First, who processes the data? They need to be registered. How are they registered? What data can be collected? The length of storing that data. How can that data be destroyed? All these are things that are defined within the law. And we think it is important because we need to protect the people right now. A number of Gambians are using this WhatsApp, social media. Unfortunately, I'm not a social media fan.
Oh, that makes the two of us.
So they are using these things, leaving a lot of data behind. Wherever they go, they leave something about themselves. Either their names, biometric, names, last names, date of birth, almost everything about the person is online. These things, who are collecting those things? They are data processors. So we are saying for the Gambia's case, in fact, we have the most advanced data protection legislation in the entire ECOWAS region.
We, Gambia?
We, the Gambia. Oh. Because the latest legislation is 2025. That is us. So in our meeting in Ghana, ECOWAS is trying to look at whether they can actually adopt the Gambia model. Because in our model, we are saying the fundamental difference is, if you are a data processor, you want to process personal data of an individual, even if you are a company out there in the US or in France or in China or in any part of Asia or Russia, if you are there, our data protection legislation, really, you come under its regime. So, in other words, you need to be regulated. You out there. At the ECOWAS level, cross-border data protection, whatever, is not well pronounced. It's just simply saying within ECOWAS region. If you do it within your country, whoever is doing it, you are now covered. But in our own case, we are saying no. Even if you are in Senegal and you are processing people's personal data in the Gambia, our law would apply to you in Senegal. Of course, you would ask me, how would you be able to enforce that? Because they are out there in Senegal and we are here. Of course, one thing you mentioned about digital education, that literacy part is there. Who do you deal with? We encourage them to register. We look at domain names as well, because these things that are operating online, we look at where Gambians would normally visit. Those things, you can look at it and see how to pursue them. But of course, it's a challenge, but we think we can do it. And at the ECOWAS level, they are simply saying it is doable. If all ECOWAS countries are ready to make sure that this is something that they can enforce. If you do it and we want to bring you under our law and you are in Guinea-Bissau or Guinea-Conakry, then we expect our commission here to liaise with the commission there in Bissau to make enforcement easy. So at that progressive stage we are, I think a number of the ECOWAS countries are looking at the Gambia as something that they can really copy. And
well done. How much progress has been made on the Gambia online portal, and which services will be digitized first?
Okay. Again, this speaks to a broader, very broad picture, Peter. Maybe give me an opportunity, I give you some of the policy documents that we have in place. As of now, we already have some cabinet-approved policy documents. In each of these things, something is there for this government thing. National Digital Addressing Policy is already in place. Cabinet approved it. National Fiber Protection Policy is already in place. Government Email Policy is in place. Government Cloud Policy, these are all in place. We've also done some policies that we have validated, but they are not yet, because we need to take them to the cabinet. These are Digital Government Policy, National Data Policy, National DIG-1 and Infrastructure Sharing Policy, Child Online and Vulnerable Groups Protection Policy, National Spectrum Policy, National FinTech Policy, and many others. Now, what are we doing as government when it comes to government services. I understand that's the question.
Yes.
We already have what you call the MyGov platform, which is developed at the level of the government, because you will realize e-government is one of the core areas we are focusing on as a ministry.
Sure.
How do you make sure that government delivers the services to the three key stakeholders that we consider as very important? Who are those stakeholders? Government itself is a stakeholder to itself. Within the government ministries, government agencies, how do we interrelate? How do we make sure that they all speak with one voice? So we are currently working on that intergovernmental connectivity, making sure that all government departments, all government units, ministries are all interconnected using one particular network for that service delivery. We are also making sure that government is connected to the businesses. But how can we do that? If you look at the GAM switch now, it's already now owned by the central bank. We've already done the full integration of the GAM switch. It's already done. It's ready.
Okay.
Most of the commercial banks, in fact, I believe all the banks are now connected to the GAM switch. Not only that, we are making sure that all those providing fintech services, applications, those apps also get connected to the GAM switch, whereby now the government now sees, because central bank is there, is one of our own, we see it as part of the government. So with the central bank there now, making sure that that integration is there, making sure that services, all financial services and transactions go through that GAM switch. And by the way, you'll be surprised that at least today, at least not less than $600 million transactions are occurring on this monthly. So a lot is happening there. Now, that is at the second layer level. The third layer level is, for this government service delivery, is government to the citizens. Now we have this called the MyGov platform. We have the gov.net, which is there, also linked to the MyGov platform. The MyGov platform is there. We are currently making sure that we can deliver 5 basic services on this platform. Maybe birth certificate. Okay. If you want to apply for a birth certificate, or you want to apply for a birth certificate, driver's license, ID card, business registration, almost 5 services are currently being looked at. And
for the MyGov platform.
For the MyGov platform. Okay. But remember, this is a platform that can carry almost over thousands of services.
Okay.
So that's how it is developed. We develop in such a way that any other service that we develop, that module, we bring it on board to making sure that it carries it. So we believe Gambians will not find it necessary anymore to travel from Basse or Katong to come to Banjul and apply for those services.
Lovely.
Yes.
You spoke about GAM switch. That's the National Payment Gateway.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
How soon do you think it will lead to a significant reduction in the use of cash? Because I hear the central bank say that printing money is expensive.
Very expensive. It is so expensive that's why we think there is always a need to make sure that we rely on some of these applications that would carry financial services at our own convenience.
So how do you envision GAM switch leading to a significant reduction in...
Now, we through a strategic document that we already have, and GAM switch, we have a very close relationship with them. We are doing a lot of training exercises, by the way, with GAM switch currently. In fact, I've just proposed that maybe in the next 2 weeks or so, one of their members I selected for a particular training outside the country. Okay. But now, what are they doing? Remember, GAM switch would be having 3 key customers. The first one, government, government services. So most of the government transactions now will go through the GAM switch. That's one. 2, GAM switch also will be looking at the banks. The banks as customers to the GAM switch. Each of these banks now, you expect them to really making sure that they use the GAM switch for all their transactions. But the bigger part is the citizens, you and I. If you have, let's say, APS app, you have Yona app, you have any of those apps, by the way, be it QMoney or AfriMoney, any of them. If you have those ones, we are making sure that each of them gets integrated to the GAM switch. So you would see all those people making transactions. It will be 2-way, bidirectional. First one is they can access their monies from any area, either from your bank account to your wallet, from your wallet to your bank account, or from your wallet to another wallet, or from another wallet to another different bank account. At that level, that's where we are now, pushing for that integration. Because once we do that, the impact will be too big. So that greater impact is what we are targeting. So I believe that shouldn't take long. We are looking at possibly maximum in the next 1 year. Because, of course, GAMSWIFT itself, it needs a lot of upgrades, the technology, the software, the hardware, what they are doing, they're using currently, we need to do some upgrades there.
Mm-hmm. You recently participated in the inauguration of a national data center. What will this new data center do for the Gambia? What role will it play in securing and storing government and citizen data? And before you start answering, I just want to play an audio in Wolof because it ties in with this.
Sure.
So, Aji, if you can just play it and then put up the volume so we can hear.
Hello, Peter. Naka nga def? Naka afternoon bi. Yeah, dama bëgg like comme xeex bu nekk diggante Iran ak American Israel. Dama dégg ne Iran ñu ngi threaten ne la ñoo cut internet cable bu nekk si Hormuz bi léegi su ko gars yi dogee xaw ma ndax am nga any interview with anybody from the government side when that situation occurs ndax ñoom ñu ngi am anything on standby because when people like us suñ business bi is so much dependent on the internet ba nga xam ne léegi duñ dee travel da ngaa toog fi nga order nga place an order using the internet nga fay transfer the bank also will use the internet to make the transfer ba dañoo seen bagage bi su gars yi receive payment bi ñu seen bagage bi and the internet bi nga use tamit pour track shipment bi nga track ko using the internet so internet bi demee down donc xaw ma ndax ñoom is it going to affect the Gambia first comme su gars dogee internet bi at that side part of the world so ndax dañ any backup yoo xam ne nañ use pour internet because I know that Sénégal Guinée-Bissau Sierra Leone ñoom am nañ Starlink up to Nigeria Ghana ñoom ñëpp I think all the English speaking countries in West Africa pour naa ñoom ñëpp am nañ even Liberia, Starlink. Gambia is the only, as far as I know, is the only English-speaking country in West Africa who have Amango. So I don't know. Ñoom ñu ngi wax security concern, loolu laa dégg security concern. Ban security concern la Gambia am bu ëppa Nigeria ñu nga xam ne they are dealing with Boko Haram there.
Okay, the last bit of the question has taken us to a completely different area. So we'll come back to the National Data Center and the role it will play in securing, and storing government and citizens' data. Address this Starlink thing because there seems to be a lot of misunderstanding and misconceptions out there as to why the Gambia, you heard him, Guinea-Bissau has. And for some reason, Gambians feel that whatever Guinea-Bissau has, Gambia should have, even twice more and all of that. Senegal has it there just next door. What's the situation with Starlink?
Thank you, Peter. I think this misconception is there that we do not want to give license or authorize Starlink in this country. That's a serious misconception. Who would not want to have American businesses in your country? They are doing great. How many American businesses are here in this country? Assuming that Starlink is American business, we have American banks here. Even AfriCell is American business. So we want them to come. But let us be clear. That's why I said from the start, I say we could have done better as a country. We had a whole policy developed, Nikki policy, and we could not even accomplish close to 20% of that policy targets. That's gone. ICT for development gone. Where are we now as a country? You need the right policy, legal and regulatory environment for any particular business that you want to thrive. Now, when we look at it, our own laws are simply saying, if you are enticing or you are bringing businesses to operate in your country, they need to be protected. They need to be protected by a legislation. It's not just because of your interest, but their interest also is important. So the key emphasis is on the interest of those satellite service providers that want to come into the country. It's not only Starlink.
Okay, I was going to say, so it's not only Starlink.
It's not Starlink. So maybe they are just seeing the Starlink application, but have they asked whether others have also applied?
Have others applied?
Of course, many satellite service providers would want to operate anywhere. So what we are saying is, you need to have the legal framework right. If you now license, if you come to me and you are, let's say, for example, by profession you're a journalist, and then you come in now, I want to register you as a chemist. Mm-hmm. Because what I have, the legal regime I have is the operations, that covers operations for those who are chemists or whatever, pharmacists or call it anything. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with you. If I now register you under that regime, I will not be doing justice to yourself, and more importantly, I will be doing the right thing for myself as well. Because I would need the right capacity to be able to relate to you as a new entity that I register in the country. And how do I relate to you as that entity? I need the legal instrument. I also need to have an understanding that this is the way I need to relate to you. So for us, we are saying, in the Gambia, our licensing regime, if you look at it, it's in fact technology-based. There is what you call GSM license. GSM is a technology. There is what you call fixed service license. Fixed service is a technology. Now, there is ISP license, Internet Service Providers license. Yes. These are three categories recognized by our law, which is technology-based. Now, I haven't seen anything within that regime which talks about low orbit satellite service license. You get it. Now, when
Starlink is low orbit.
Low orbit, that's the service. So, no, that's what I said. I said, when I was asked to sign the document, what was presented to me was an ISP license. And I was very clear. We engaged them positively, and we really want them to come. We have nothing against them. But when we engaged them, they were so clear to us. They said, look, we are not ISPs. Now, where do you want me to go? Which instrument do you want us to give them? When I look at the law, I realize that our entire licensing regime needs to be completely transformed. That is why we now have the communication bill. Okay. And that communication bill, we fast-tracked it because we want to address this issue. Imagine a legislation of that nature covering almost close to 200 pages. We were able to push it through within a period of 2 to 3 months. From initiation to consultation, validation, taking it to the cabinet, to the Aegis chambers, pushing it to the National Assembly. Now it has passed through the second reading. I think we are doing our best.
Absolutely.
And I tell them that anytime we are ready for that, we want more businesses to come into this country. So satellite services are recognized, but also we recognize other mediums that can provide some of those services as well, which are already currently we are having.
Let's talk about this national data center because it's very important, for all of us. So what is its role, all right, in securing and storing government and citizen data?
In fact, Peter, you said it all. It will secure and store our government and citizen data. What is happening here, if you look at our operators in the country, almost all of them, you ask them where is their data currently stored. It will be very difficult for the answer to be 100% in the Gambia. And what is that data? Because the data is a lot. You have the data itself and the metadata part. The metadata part is the one that explains the real data. Now, the real data, meaning maybe your biometric data, everything about you, our sector, all transactions, financial transactions, things that come in and out of the country, even these payments we are doing through different platforms, all that together, that volume, it needs to be stored somewhere. Because the law says a part of the data should be stored for a certain period of time. Where do they take it? A good number of them are not having it in the country. So we are simply saying that data needs to come back, especially now data has become the real oil. It's the real money. Yeah. So we want it to be stored in our country. So with this new data center that is brought up by Chiu Cell, honestly, when they ask me, I call it is a signature. What they have done, I think, is incredible. Because to set up a data center is not cheap. It's really costly. Because it's expensive, they did it. So we are looking at ways how we can optimally utilize it in this country. We see it as an infrastructure that could be used or utilized by the entire country, all these key stakeholders. But of course on clear terms and conditions. These people have invested. It's not free. But of course, we also want to be protected. And anybody who wants to use that particular data center wants to be protected.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at those measures. Government is really trying to promote its use and utilization. And any other entity who brings up or comes up with such a data center, that's the same thing we will do. And we want to make sure that, because it is not an option now. You cannot say because it is belonging to a particular business entity, I wouldn't utilize it. We've gone beyond that now. Data must be at home. If it is at home, it's safer than when it is outside home. So we were encouraging everybody, but of course we are encouraging the stakeholder concerned to make sure that the terms and conditions of access to that data center utilization
affordability for small businesses and startups will determine its impact.
And as well as the security of our data. Yeah. Because if you give them that thing and you get connected, your data gets stored there, you want to know how they are managing that. Do you have the freedom to exclusively manage that segment of the platform or the data center where your data is stored? These are things we are looking at. And I know they are quite business friendly, so they understand the concerns of a number of the stakeholders, including the government. But we want to make sure that we use it, because our using it will encourage other people to do it, because even the government itself is coming up with something like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Peter. I am happy to be here today. I hope I'm now ready to be coming to your store.
Fantastic.
Anytime you call.
I'll replace Dr. Cisse with you.
No. He's a great guy, huh? Yes, I want to take this opportunity to thank you and thank the Gambians. And I know we have our challenges. Let me start with that. But of course, the future is bright. We are working as a government on getting the right infrastructure for the people in this country. But let's remember, infrastructure for digital economy is expensive. You need a national backbone. There are gaps. We are addressing them. You need to create full connectivity of all stakeholders in this country. We are pushing through, especially with the passing of the infrastructure sharing regulations. But also let us remember, you can have it right in the country, but you also have to have it right outside the country through the submarine cable system. This is a very expensive project. We're looking at a cost element of over almost 25 to 35 million US dollars. It may even be more than that. And the government is doing a lot. We've already secured very close to 25 million of that. Government already has that. And then, of course, there are some funding gaps, and we are trying to make sure that we address those things. But this is what it takes to build the digital economy with the right policies. And I think the government is doing a lot. If you look at our area, what we are doing currently as a ministry, we are touching almost the lives of every stakeholder, every person in the society. Be it at the level of the women, we have special projects with them. Be it at the level of our own software developers, application developers in this country, those especially within the fintech sector, value chain, we're doing a lot with them. But I think what is important is the government is ready to making sure that we promote local content as we develop that economy. Because that economy, the revenue that it would generate in the long run, we don't want it to stay only in the Gambia, of course, but we want to use it for the benefit of the Gambia and the Gambians. So I thank you so much for this opportunity. There are a lot that we need to talk about in the future. Thank you.
Honorable Jabbi, thank you so very much.
sant yàlla looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokk dara.
Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jar Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With EcoBank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as EcoBank mobile app, EcoBank Online, and EcoBank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the EcoBank mobile app. Open the EcoBank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via EcoBank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to EcoBank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any EcoBank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.